Hey guys! This week I thought I would show you some of my current favorite things. There's a couple of things I've been really into lately and I thought I would just share those with you. So the first item is actually going to be a food item. This is something that I discovered a couple of weeks to maybe 2 months ago, and they're a different take on Pop-Tarts essentially. I have one of the boxes right here. It's called Nature's Path Organic Toaster Pastries, which essentially is Pop-Tarts. And this is in blueberry. They have several different flavors, but I don't know, I just seem to like these. So these are very similar to, regular name brand Pop-Tarts, but they're slightly healthier. So I did a comparison just to see because I was curious, and they do have the same amount of calories, at least the blueberry to blueberry. Obviously Pop-Tarts has much more variety in flavors, so I'm not sure if you get one, like cookies and cream or something like that, if it's quite the same. But blueberry to blueberry, it's the same number of calories per pastry or per packet. But this has more organic ingredients. It has less overall fat. It has less sodium and things like that. So it's just like a tiny bit healthier. I just kind of found these. I liked these if I'm having a really lazy morning and I just, not feeling cereal, or if I'm in a hurry and I'm running late that morning, I just need something I can like grab and go. These are really good for that. So really been liking these. The next thing that I've really been enjoying, I don't actually have like a visual for you guys, but it's a vlog channel on YouTube that I've been kind of watching the last couple of weeks. It popped up in my recommended section on YouTube, I think because I've been watching a lot of like British teen pregnancy documentaries on YouTube for whatever reason. And so this is a family in Hawaii that vlogs that are teen parents or young adult parents. The mom is 19 and they have 3 children under the age of 2. And it's just really interesting. The vlog channel is called Sparkly Family Vlogs, I believe. I will leave a link to their channel below for anyone who kind of wants to check them out. But I just thought it was really interesting, not only because they live such a completely different life than me. I can't imagine being not even 20 and having 3 kids under the age of 2. They have 2-year-old twins and then a daughter who is less than a year old. But also because they are very open, I guess, about being a plant-based family. And I think part of what fascinates me is that just like the way that they show in their vlogs just makes it seem so easy to live super healthy, I guess, like, or to live like on a plant-based diet. So a lot of fruits and veg and vegan recipes and things like that. And so I think that's part of the reason why I've found it really interesting to watch, is because it's just so different, but it also makes it look so easy to live a lifestyle like that. And it's honestly like, it's kind of inspiring a little bit. Like, it's like, oh, well, maybe it's not that hard to like make some changes in your own life and like diet and stuff like that. But anyway, so, and the kids are super cute. So yeah, I've been kind of watching that recently. So keeping with the entertainment category for a second, I've recently gotten into podcasts the last couple of months, which is new for me because I can be very picky about voices, which is why I typically don't like audiobooks. I used to try a couple from the library, didn't really like them because I didn't enjoy the voice that was reading the story, so I would just tune out very quickly. But these are people that I have followed sporadically on social media and on YouTube for a while. So I'm already familiar with their personality, with their sense of humor. I already like that. So when I heard that they had podcasts, I was like, well, why not? Like, we'll try it. So the first one is Grace Helbig. She has a podcast called Not Too Deep, where she interviews just like a whole host of people. Like, she's had the Try Guys from BuzzFeed on. She's had a couple of comedians and just other YouTubers and like just a whole host of people. So that's been very entertaining to listen to, and I recommend that if you like a kind of like quirky sense of humor. Jack Ferry, who is also involved with several podcasts, is also kind of a co-host to that. Another one that I've been listening to recently is Megan Rinks' podcast called Don't Blame Me, which is very interesting. The scenarios that people call in with. It's an advice podcast where people from anywhere in the world can call in. They will play their message with their dilemma on the podcast, and then it's essentially Megan and whoever is a guest that week responding and giving advice. And it's just, that's very interesting to listen to. Excuse me. But yeah, so that's just, it's really interesting to listen to the kind of scenarios that people have gotten themselves into or find themselves in and are kind of like asking for outside advice. Jack Ferry is also a producer on that podcast as well. So the last podcast is called Entry Level with Brooks Wheelan. I've only gotten into this in the last 2 weeks or so. He is a comedian who was on one season of SNL a couple of years ago, I believe. So his podcast is primarily interviewing different comedians about the jobs that they had leading up to kind of when they quote unquote made it. So it's not kind of like a story of success necessarily. It's more just talking about the experiences and the different jobs that they had when they were younger before they were able to become comedian full time. If that makes any sense. And it's really interesting to listen to because you'll hear some really interesting stories. Like Brooks himself he used to work at Caltech before he got SNL. Like he was a full-on scientist, and he mentions that in a couple of podcasts with guests where they're comparing stories and things like that. So it's just really interesting. The next favorites that I have is a makeup palette. This is the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Love this palette. I've been using it pretty much every day since I got it. It's really versatile. The colors are beautifully pigmented and so great. The only colors that I haven't really figured out quite how to use yet are the 2 or 3 kind of like darker red or pink shades, but pretty much everything else in the palette, super versatile. Love, love, love this palette. Such a great buy. The last thing that I want to include in this favorites list is actually sleep, which might seem a little bit odd to include in a favorites video, but sleep has become so much more important to me since the beginning of this year, because as you may or may not know, if you follow me on social media or if you follow me on my blog, I decided last fall to go back to school. And so I'm currently earning my master's degree via an online program through an accredited university. But because of that, you know, trying to balance 2 classes for school plus a full-time job makes sleep very, very precious. And then I've also been trying to add going back to the gym, kind of back in that, because I did take a break from that while I was adjusting to this new schedule. So between trying to fit the gym in and making sure I have time to get all of my homework done, let alone the classes themselves, are evening classes that often don't end until 10 or 11 at night after having worked, you know, a full day at my job. So I really, really relish the weekends right now because I don't have to set an alarm and I can sleep in until whenever I want. And it's really, really nice to be able to sleep in until 10 or 11 in the morning, as opposed to getting up at like 5 or 6 if I want to go to the gym or if I have homework to complete and stuff like that. So sleep has become very, very important. Alright, that is all of my favorites, or all of my current favorites, I should say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what some of your favorites are. I'm always curious and open to trying out new things, so let me know, and I will see you guys next time.